And first off, I want to thank Penguin Random House for generously supporting our education series this summer. We're here to talk about the catalog, and we do have a couple of new things that are happening with the catalog this year that will hope increase engagement with your customers. This is a meeting, and if you want to ask, if you need to ask a question or something, you know, feel free to turn on your mic and jump in or raise your hand, and we'll try to answer it as we go. We will just get going. There was something else. Valentina and Emma will help me remember what. Emma is here. She's part of our Caliva team, as is Valentina. Christiane is here with Shelf Awareness to talk about that piece. And Emily is here from Bayside Printed Products. She's the one that's printed our catalogs for the last couple of years, and she's been a really good partner in this. And she's the one that is helping coordinate both the newspaper insertions and especially this direct-to-home piece. So she's here to answer questions about that as we go. So the catalog has 4 parts, and Emma, if you want to just go to that first slide, that we have 4 parts to the catalog. We have the printed catalog, we have the email newsletter securely presented by Shelf Awareness. We have the website integration for e-commerce sites, and we have posters and shelf talkers. And today we're mostly talking about the printed catalog and the shelf awareness piece at this point, because this is where most of the change is taking place, most of the enhancements. When you think about measuring the effectiveness of the catalog, sometimes people just look at, well, this title didn't sell or that didn't work. But the whole point of the catalog is to get people engaged and into your store. And once they're in there, it's not just the books in the catalog that they're picking up. They're going to be picking up the gifts and the cards and the other books that you're going to be there recommending. We're trying to get them in and get them connected to your booksellers who do what they do amazingly well, which is get the right books into the hands of your customers. And so, you know, what else did they purchase are some of the questions you need to ask. And did you know, this is especially with the newspaper insertions or the direct-to-home pieces, this is where you're reaching out for those new customers that you might not already have coming in your store. The printed catalog. Wait, there are a couple of ways. You can go to the next slide, Emma. So some stores have chosen to brand their catalogs with their store information and a letter specifically from the store to their customers. There's a minimum quantity required for us to be able to do this, and typically stores take them and insert them into newspapers for greater reach. And the next slide. And then another way to participate is just to be listed on the catalog. And even if you're imprinting, you can also be listed on the catalog at the same time. So this will give people a great idea. This is just a Southern California version of where they might go shopping close to them, or if they happen to be traveling. It's just a great way to find other stores. And stores typically, and you guys, if you have other ways you've used this catalog that's worked for you, please jump in and let us know. But stores use these to hand out in stores, bag stuffers, if you're still doing bags. Maybe you have those online orders coming in again, and including them as you're shipping out your books to their customers. They're great for offsite sales, pop-ups and book fairs, a great way to take an order or get more information in front of your customers and invite them in. The branded catalogs, the way you saw the Book Jewel catalog, those are used for direct mail, the direct mail and the newspaper insertions. And so let's talk a little bit about the direct mail. This is the new piece that we're adding this year, because we realized that in some communities, the newspaper has lost its circulation. Some stores have lost their newspaper altogether. Some of it, they've gone online. So this is another way to engage customers, is this direct to home mailing. So you can see all the pieces here that we hope that might work. Next slide. And this is the cost breakdown of this. And we just were using 2,000 piece as catalogs as a sample for these numbers. And these are all kind of approximates, but they should be close to this. So Kaliba is going to, especially because this is a new program and we want to make it affordable for bookstores and see if it works for us for this time around, at least, maybe even going forward. Kaliba will cover the cost of the handling to get it ready, for Emily to get it ready at the printers, to send it to the post offices the way it needs to be sent. There is a handling fee on that. So Kaliba will cover that. And the plate change, we've always covered the plate change. What the plate change means is that that's your branding on the catalog. And we've always covered the freight charge to the post office or to the newspaper. We're just asking the stores to cover the cost of the postage. And it's an estimated cost at this point because it'll be determined by how many pieces as a group we all mail. The more we do, the less the price will be. The price will go down. So, and this is once again based on 2,000 pieces. And Emily can, if you speak to Emily, if you call Emily, she can help you hone the distribution. So, she's not mailing to businesses. She can target some certain demographics if that's what you want, and work within your budget to make this happen.
And I don't know how many people know about direct to home, but direct to home is a USPS way to get your local stores out to homeowners. And it's a cheaper cost postage wise. They set up this program many years ago, and there's been a lot of success. I have one client who their rate of return was 3%, which is really good. They also offered a coupon. So coupons are great to drive people to your store as well on the feed. Basically, direct to home, what it is we go in and we hone into certain areas around your stores. And whether it's a 5-mile radius, a 1-mile radius, or if you have certain areas that you want us to hit. So if you have a particular zip code, we say, okay, do this zip code. You can go down to the carrier route of that particular zip code. And that's basically what we're doing. We are basically doing all the work for the post office, and then we drop the mail off at your local post office, where the mail gets distributed to the carrier, and then the carrier there's no equipment that this mail goes on at all. So it's a really good way to get the word out to local people around your stores. You are honing in a little bit in the respect that your piece shows up in the mail by itself. Does that make sense to everybody?
Okay. All right. Next slide. And we're doing the newspapers insertions once again, the way we always have. And as always, we cover the plate change and we cover the freight to the distribution centers, and we'll work with you on where you would like it dropped. Some stores, usually by zone or by zip code. If you've done this in the past, we'll start with that information. We can change it, move it from there, however you like. There have been changes, and I don't think I saw any San Francisco stores. The Chronicle has changed how it's doing the distribution, but everybody else I've talked to that we've worked with before, it sounds like it's pretty much the same. And the costs might go up a little bit. I mean, the costs of everything go up a little bit as we move from a 12 to a 16-page catalog, but it should be pretty similar to last year from what everybody's gotten back to me. Any questions about that? One of the things I should say, you know, we showed the back covers of the magazines for the branded and the general store lists. If you are distributing to, if you're doing direct to mail, that back cover will change a little bit because we have to allow space for the imprinting for the post office information to go in there. So that back cover will indeed change a little bit, but we can work around that as well. Some stores, you know, sometimes you can band with other stores in your region and co-brand and get even more out to benefit you both. And is there, next slide?
Are there any stores on today's Zoom that actually did a distribution the year before to the newspapers?
Yeah, Chris did, I know.
Chris, how
Yeah, we did it.
How did it go for you?
I think it went well. We definitely had people come in like who brought their catalogs in that they had gotten in the paper and were looking for specific titles, or other people who had mentioned they had seen it in the local paper. So
That's great.
yeah, it seemed to work.
Yeah, I know there's a Mountain Bookstore up in Sonora actually lays that inserts it in 2 different mailings, and they did it by accidentally one year. They put it in, they accidentally somehow distributed it last year or a couple of years twice, and they got so much feedback from the second time around that they just do it twice every year. The other thing I've heard from another store that had a Barnes and Noble land close to them at one point, what it did was remind people that that their store was indeed there. This was facing the book over in the El Dorado Hills, and for a while they'd lost a lot of business to when Barnes and Noble, the bright new shiny thing, went in. But when this piece went out in the newspapers, they it just, people came in saying, I just kind of forgot about you guys. I'm so glad I got this. So it does have some traction. It has historically worked. As the newspapers shift, though, their distribution, this direct to home piece might also work. And Stacy says, and Stacy's up in Folsom, and they did the newspaper last year. Stacy was a new bookstore last year too, and had a few people bring them in. So it has historically worked pretty well. We do need you to confirm your information. You know, if you want to do the same thing, we have, we'll drop some links in the chat too. If you haven't already replied to those, please do. We have to get our numbers. We have to be ordering paper by very soon. We need to get how many copies of this catalog so Emily can purchase the paper so we can get it. We'll have it in time to get it printed into your stores. We're trying to get it into stores a couple weeks early. I know that was a wish last year that was really hard to fulfill because, you know, Emily can talk to this. It was election year and the print, the print runs were just all slotted in where they were slotted in. It was really hard to get around that, but she worked really hard to get things out a little bit earlier for us. So, but we're trying to do that again this year and get things out earlier. How many?
This year we're coming up against, sorry, Ann, this year we're coming up against people getting back into the work mode. There's still people, our employees are not back up where they used to be. People are finding that either they are retiring or they are, sorry for the background noise, they're retiring or they just don't want to go back to work. So we are struggling with some issues. Not only that, paper pricing has increased. Commodities are harder to get because of COVID. So there's just a lot of things affecting it. So that's the reason why we need to really buy it this year, especially.
Yeah, we need to get our counts so Emily can get everything ready for us when we're ready to go. Any questions, anything about that?
Yeah. I just want to, hi, this is Jack. I just wanted to say that we didn't do anything last year, hardly. we weren't involved because the COVID really kind of shut us down, frankly. We didn't let anybody in our store. You know, I mean, we did stuff at the door, and that really hurt us badly. But anyway, I just wanted to say that we want to go back to where we were 2 years ago. And so I need to talk to Emily about that, but we're back on board to do it. So
Yeah.
I'll be calling you, Emily, shortly to after this is over to discuss what we're going to do. But it's going to be basically what we used to do, 2 years ago.
That was inserting, wasn't it?
Inserting in the papers. Yes.
Okay.
And also the branding would be of some interest to me as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think if you're inserting, we should be doing the branding for you, because there's really no cost to you on that at all.
Right.
And I can go back and I can find, I'm pretty sure I can find information from what you did 2 years ago and get that over to Emily, and we can get that coordinated for you.
Well, that would be good. And what I'll do is I'll wait till tomorrow to call her to make sure you guys have the information.
Okay.
But I appreciate all your help. I really do.
Oh,
I must
certainly.
say, I just want to say in general that because of everything that you guys have been doing, Kaliba's been doing, our store has been getting more people coming in who see us somewhere, see us on the things that you guys set up, and they're coming into our store, and we're saying like, well, how did you find out about us, and that kind of thing, and they're telling us that that they saw us online with the things that are going on, and I just want to say we appreciate all that.
Oh, perfect. Appreciate that feedback. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I see from Amanda here. So if we want to be included in as a participating store and want a carton of catalogs to distribute yourself, what is the cost? There's no cost if you're just going to be included on the list. There's no cost at all. It's only if you're going to be branding and inserting. So, okay. All right. Well, we'll turn it over to Christiane from Shelf Awareness.
Hi, nice to see some of you. I'm up here in Seattle, so I get to see you guys briefly in these moments. I'm going to share my screen. Oops. Okay. So I believe everyone is seeing our little reading.
And once again, we'll have 4 emails that support the titles in the catalog, and Shelf Awareness is our partner in this, who offer really amazing security and support. They've been really great on this end for us to work with, so really appreciate them a lot.
Yeah, for the last couple of years, we've been sending emails for almost 15 years now for stores, branding for them and sending to their audiences sort of like their own newsletter, but we do the work. And so a couple years ago, we started partnering with Kaliba, as well as some other regional associations, to take what you're sending or having, the printed catalog that you have in your store, to make an email version of that to send out to your customers directly, especially during things like pandemics, as we were talking earlier, that people aren't getting into the store as much as they like to. We meet them where they are. So it's the same content from your printed version. And we usually send out a list in advance to let you know which issue will tie to which titles. So you'll see, the Margaret Atwood is going to be on that day, or whether there's going to be a particular kids book that you're excited about promoting. Each of these mailings is branded for your store, and it links to your site and your social media. And it also clicks through to your e-commerce. And the reply to function sends to your email address. So it's really your newsletter, and the customers are communicating to you. Like our twice weekly shelf awareness for readers and the monthly pre-order e-blast, it's super easy to start. Just your logo to brand it, the reply to email address, so we know where you want your customers to reply, and then the CSV of who you want to get these mailings from you. And as Anne mentioned, the list is only ever used for your own mailing. It's stored securely, sort of if you use Constant Contact or MailChimp, when you just store your email list in that service, we just store it in the same way. And it's just connected to your mailing, just sends to your customers with your branding, everything. So we do all the setup for you. After you provide the logo, we brand the newsletter, we integrate all your social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, whatever you want up there. And we also do the commerce integration for you. So every more info or buy now button links through to your page on your website. And we use, we can work things out for Indie Commerce and Indie Light and Book Manager or Bookshop affiliate pages, and even the hand seller sites out there. And there's times we can work out, if you're not using one of these, we can address those individually and see what we can do. So it's been pretty successful. The Kaliba stats from last year was 31 stores, and it was an average of 28% open rate across all the stores, which is pretty good industry-wise. So 2.5 click-through is also really great. So we've seen it be really productive. And this year we are hoping to have this data dashboard. It's right on that. We have a couple of my charming testers are here in the audience today. We've been testing out the dashboard, making sure the language works and making sure all the pieces point to the right directions and make sense to navigate through. So it's going to be a portal where you can see your mailings and you can see your numbers and all of your stats as it sends out throughout the session that you're sending. And I'm pretty sure the dates are listed on this. Let me see if I can put, I know this is on that registration page, but on the registration page, it shows it's going to be November 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th, which is when those mailings will go out. Yeah, so technically it's really a load off your shoulders. We just do all the things for you. We'll send you out a proof before everything is set to launch, so you can make sure your logo looks good and make sure all the pipes are working, and then we launch for you. Do you have any questions specifically about the email version?
Sort of email version adjacent / catalog adjacent, which is confirming that there will be a Kaliba office driven social media component to all this again. Yes, no?
That's something we thought about. It hasn't been used much in the past. And one of the reasons we did it in the first place is because bookstores were struggling so hard to integrate social media a lot of times in what they were doing. The pandemic changed a lot. And one of those things was the use of social media by the stores. And so I'm happy to, we're happy to put something like that together, but is that something you really need at this point? Or how could we do it differently that it will really be used? Because it hasn't historically been used very much. What do you think?
Well, as someone who clicks on Kaliba tweets and often sees that I'm one of 3 people doing it, if you're not getting usage of it, that's fine. It was sort of I didn't remember seeing it mentioned and was wondering if it would be a component. But if it's not getting utilization and there's not a return on, the office's investment of time and energy, don't do it on creating conversations' behalf.
Yeah. So we're always open to whatever you guys want to do and need, and that's what we're here to make this program work for booksellers, to get people in your door, or on your websites or however it is they're going to be buying books. So if that's a component anybody thinks we need, just let us know. Christiane?
Well, Mary Elizabeth, I don't know if it helps any, all the books in your newsletter do have share buttons. So you can, I can show, I think I'm showing now. So here was a mailing from last year. And if you as, you in the store connect, this button, it will allow you to share an individual title on your social media pages. So if that helps, it's not the whole newsletter, but it will link back to the newsletter, your email version, and you can highlight particular books that way.
Yeah, and most of some of the email posts were more than one title, but a lot of them were those single titles. So that actually might be a more effective way to make that happen.
I guess in that case, maybe the only ask that I would have, while I am familiar with the shelf share, what it doesn't do is it doesn't have the everyone gets a book branding, which is what I liked from having it from the office. But if you want to have a folder that we can all access where we can grab, the logo, maybe in different, template, standardized formats, etc. You don't have to do every book, but if I can have something where I can just say, everyone gets a book and here's the bunny or whoever we have this year, and then also promote the book. I think that would be user friendly, at least for how we use social media.
That's good. We could do that. Making notes. Okay. Very good. Anything anybody else had questions about or anything? Anything else you want to know? It's good to see everybody, even if it's just virtually. It's really good to see everybody. I'm so used to webinars where we're kind of sequestered.
Hey, Anne, it's Stacy.
Hi, Stacy.
I just wanted to chime in. I don't know how many people on here are new to this, but last year being new, I came to this meeting and I couldn't believe that it was actually free. And I was like, what's the catch, And then through my contact with you afterwards, I was like, this is actually like a really cool free thing. So if there's anybody that's in the same boat saying, okay, like what's the catch? There really is no catch. And I just wanted to put that out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the way this program works too, I mean, this was developed years ago in that stores, a lot of stores just don't have the manpower to put together a catalog like this. It's also a way that Kaliba gets income and supports what we do here. So, and it's kind of one of those chicken and eggs things. It's like, the publishers want to know how many bookstores and what the distribution is. So the more that is, the more they're going to buy in, and the booksellers want to know what the titles are, because does that work for us, and that kind of thing. So, and we are working on ways. I think we have some strategies for the next go around to get more publisher buy-in. 2020 for everything, including the catalog, was a really hard crunch, and this year was a little better. But I'm thinking that we're going to get back on our feet in a much better stead next year with the publishers as well. So, and what that does for Kaliba is it helps support what we do for everything else. But it's got to work, this has to be a win for everyone. It has to work for the booksellers, number one. It's got to work for the publishers too. They need to see that it's getting out there and getting circulated, and these books are getting eyes on them. And it's got to work for Kaliba as well, because it's a whole lot of work. But it's, I appreciate so much what you said today, Jack. It just makes me feel good, and it's like, I'll keep it up. And we're always looking for different ways to do things or different modes to do them. And if anybody ever has any ideas, just let us know. Appreciate it.